Hallihallo, meine Lieben. Dieses Bild ist schwarz. Es ist nicht gut. Jetzt ist es da. Hallihallo, meine Lieben, und willkommen zurück zu einem weiteren Let's Play vom Gronkel Dating Simulator. Ja, die aufmerksamen Leute von euch werden jetzt mitbekommen haben, dass ich nicht mehr Gronkel Dating Simulator gesagt habe. Das liegt ganz einfach daran, dass es jetzt der Gronkel Stan Dating Simulator ist. Wir finden uns heute bei der Covid-Episode. Ich bin nämlich krank und ich denke, das ist der perfekte Moment, um dieses Spiel zu spielen. Ich will es spielen. Ja, genau. Und deswegen starten wir jetzt auch rein. Die Framerate liegt bei 60 FPS. Die Lampe ist zu weit weg entfernt, um sie auszumachen. Egal. Los geht's. Good old road trips, full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul-searching and incredible scenery. Na, dem aufmerksamen Zuschauer, der wird mitbekommen haben, dass ich eben gesagt habe, ich bin krank. Deswegen werde ich meine Stimme heute wahrscheinlich nicht ganz so geilomat verstellen wie sonst. Oh, hier gucke mal, neues Ergebnis für deine Suche in alle Kategorien. Oh, ich glaube, ich brauche das. Vielleicht legen wir das eBay Kleinanzeigen-Handy erstmal weg. Or at least that's what you thought before the novelty wore in. As of now, your legs are cramping up. You've exhausted your travel planners 2 times over, Alter, das ist doch wenig. And your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of that all, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees, and more trees, especially on the endless winding roads that you're taking up north. Ob das wohl Pine Trees sind? All that breaks the pattern is a sign. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that slips past with the words that you're just able to make out. Gravity Falls. Wer ist eigentlich auf die Idee gekommen, morgens aufzustehen zu sagen, oh ja, diese Stadt, die nenne ich Schwerkraftfeld. XD lol. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something because, as you drive on, you can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. Or something romantic. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. The change came out of nowhere, and you quickly put your foot on the brakes, but horrifyingly the car seems to be driving on its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle, the wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... I love dieses Sail mit einem Fragezeichen. There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumble for the door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you all right? A man stands at your open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves you tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining it in your eyes. 2 blinks, and he lets your chin go. His eyes start over the rest of you, looking for injuries, still stunned as all you do is watch. What's your... Oh, it's right there. What's your name? Regular person. Ich hätte mir vielleicht meine Taschentücher hier machen sollen. Ich habe aber Angst, die Aufnahme zu pausieren, weil letztes Mal hat OBS bei der Aufnahme verkackt. Und da hat dann mehr als die Hälfte gefehlt. Gut, ich würde sagen, wobei, ich wollte gerade sagen, dass wir wieder mit Cornelia gehen. Aber das würde mein Herz zu zerbrechen. Ich hole mir jetzt meine Taschentücher, ich lasse die Aufnahme an. Es guckt eh nur Celine. Und vielleicht Sophie. Bis gleich. Lol, stellt euch mal vor, ich werde wirklich große Gamerin, Let's Playerin. Und das wird dann so ein Satz im Best-of. Oh, das gucken nur Celine und Sophie. Lol, und dann kommt so ein Edit. Ja. Gut. Type in your name. Wer würde gut zu Stan passen? Ich sag mal Isabella. Aber nee. Ja, sagen wir Mary. Mary Ann. Mary Ann ist die Go-To jetzt. I don't care, dass sie zu shy ist. Und ihre Pronomen sind she, her. Mary Ann, I'm Stanford Pines. Ford for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up enough as it is. You seem fine, as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth were you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. Poindexter! There's better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times to... Woo! The owner of the voice walks out of the house and stops slack-jawed at the side of your car in the side of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier, because you could swear you're seeing double. Ja, würde ich auch denken. Also Rot sieht ja auch ganz, ganz ähnlich aus wie Blau. Sweet Moses Ford, you've done it this time. What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and... It must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it is entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. Gut. Ich würde sagen, Jin, wir reassuren uns selber, weil bei der Ford-Route weiß der, dass wir ihn reassuren. Und Cry, ich weiß nicht, das kommt vielleicht doch Dipper und fühlt sich genauso weiblich wie man selber, weil er selber so oft weint. I can't believe this. My car. What's going on? Who are these men? Why did this happen? Why did this have to happen to you? Everything's going to be fine. I'm gonna get through this. Hey, look, it's fine, alright? Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack's signage. And a crack in the windshield that looks like an ominous triangle, but I'm sure she'll still run. You try to start up the car. It sputters, but ultimately nothing happens. You feel like crying. Oh. Well, let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul. And forget, I'll take care of it. You're right. It is cheaper to tow it for yourself. Sixer, get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley, I'm going to fix this. Ha! What? You fix this mess? I figured a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, are you kidding me? I take some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life, and this miracle worker is on vacation. Stanley, a moment. Ford and Stanley turn away and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You can take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses here, right? So you take a bus out of here and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished their talk. So, there are a few options. My brother Stanley here could drive you out to town to find a place to stay for the night, or you could stay the night here. We have some maps and information you can look at in the gift shop, and in the morning we can help you with your car. What do you say? Just as you're about to answer, another high-pitched voice comes from inside the house.
Gronkel Stan, picture this! A whole week of... Oh my gosh!
The girl that runs out of the house comes to a halt at the side of your car. Oh, great.
Gronkel fart?
Why is it that everyone automatically thinks I'm at fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Mary Ann here to stay with us for the night if she'd like. I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how. Stanleys eyes. Der hat sich doch noch gar nicht vorgestellt, oder? Aber kurz, nochmal Nase putzen. War ein Nasenschneuzer-Compilation. I can take a look. Being on vacation's pretty boring. And the old Stan mobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have lying around if you need any specialized tools to help you with the job.
And let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything there is to know about this place.
Wait, hold on. I haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay. And to repair your car. Yeah, it will be good as new in my hands. I mean, look at my Stan mobile. She's been through the ringer so many times and she's still a beaut. He points out a red car parked a distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Ich glaube, es war das hier. Die Free Repairs? Free Lodging? Also ich kenne das Wort nicht. There's no better deal to be found, and if these things don't work out, the town probably has some sort of auto repair shop you can head to instead. Well, I accept. Thanks for the help. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. As the pines lead you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number in your phone for you to call whenever, and you find out that Fort Strin goes by Stan. His part's the house, but just outside that door is the mystery shack. Hey, you ever been to the mystery shack before? I wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road and got curious. You are interrupted by a loud triumphant "Ha!" Those bumper stickers were a good investment, and 6 says they're too plain and graphically simplistic and don't even have an address on them, Stanley. How is anyone supposed to find this place to attract customers? 6, did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how she found the place, let alone thought what is the mystery shack was compelling. I kinda liked it. See? She kinda liked it. Hey, I like you, Marianne. How about I give you a tour sometime tomorrow? Regular price.
Tomorrow? Then I have to squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions in today. Marianne, tell me, capybara, yes or no?
At that moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the far doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper! My boy, I'm surprised I didn't see you run out to the scene of crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi, I swear. Oh, you have someone with you. I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car inside of the shack, though? For a second I thought the Minotaurs were back with a crutch.
Yes. About that, Dipper. Meet Marianne. I've, stranded her car here by accident. She's staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded her car here? You crashed it?
Yeah, the S in check fell on it and everything, and the windows are cracked.
One window, the windshield.
And Marianne was lucky to make it out alive.
She's fine. No injuries, thankfully. The magnet's gun rather safe, despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh! Did you not, take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation is that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you two are gonna do your nerd talk, I'm gonna get Marianne set up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Marianne around? Let her stay in the storage room. That's still empty, right?
I'll make it empty.
The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you to the storage room you'll be staying in. Then the kitchen and the living room and the hallway and the bathroom and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually, you find out that the family is even more extended than you knew. The decorative doilies make a lot of more sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here and her grandson Zeus. Or was it Zeus? Whatever the name, you look forward to meeting him when he comes for work in the morning. When you go up to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, nose stuck in his book, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. Doch bei Deutschen. Holy guacamole. The next member of the family snorts up at you from Mabel's bed, a round-town pink pig, who Mabel declares that her best friend and partner in crime, Waddles. The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and boobable noses. And in the evening, though you'd still be in disbelief over the state of your car, the family dinner and after dinner TV marathon you'd been invited to made it seem like a normal guest stay rather than a forced circumstance. Returning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming in through the small high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel room or motel room for that matter, and then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see that you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family and try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Excuse, ah, yes, from yesterday, of course. For a good solid moment, Ford regards you in awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's taking a look at your car outside, if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And, Marianne, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smart about, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault, and you shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks. You can't keep the dismay off your face, and you can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I going to do with weeks? Ford, who had gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's the town, of course. And the mystery shack. But if you ask me, all that pales in comparison to... hold on, do you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddle stumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into the view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford steps quickly out of the kitchen. You follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug of war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after nearly toppling backward from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddle's jars and lifting both pieces up victoriously.
Haha! Mabel wins again! Now I just gotta find Gronkel Ford!
Ford, who had run forward and held a hand out to steady this energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat.
Gronkel Ford, you've got to help me!
Shit. Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, tough, though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter?
Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in, and Waddles ran up and started eating one, and he must have been chewing on it to warn me, Gronkel Ford, because look!
Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them back together, holding it up for Ford to see. Huh, I see. And you took it as a warning.
Yes, it says here that it eats small dogs. And Waddles is a small pig, but he sorta looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life.
Waddle seems to second this notion with a snort, or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what stage this predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger. You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore.
Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time, I can't let him leave my side.
Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? Huh. How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That will keep Waddle safe from harm. Mabel flops down on the floor in relief.
Gronkel Ford, you are an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear.
Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel and standing back up. All right, I go get my recipe. Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that with nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here, it wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway, and you need that to not die of boredom in the first week. Or, more pressingly, you could go check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car in the side of the house again, though. So, ich glaube, hier können wir den ersten Part beenden. I'm unsure. Wir machen nochmal die Entscheidung. Ja, also es bricht mein Herz ein bisschen, because Ford is my boy, aber das ist natürlich jetzt auch einfach nur aus Prinzip gesagt. Wir checken diesmal das Auto. After Ford leaves, Mabel rolls away with a pig towards the living room, and you head out of the house in search of Stan. The mystery shack should only have 4 main sides, but you feel like you've made your rounds past 5 of them before finally seeing your absolute wreck of a car. You swear it looks even worse than it did when you crashed it. Stan stands before it, hands on his hips, as he looks at the large wooden S that's made its indent in the car's hood. How bad is it? Can't tell yet. Not till I get this letter off the hood. That S never did like to stay in place. mystery hack, huh?
Look, if you're gonna insult me... Oh, you were reading the sign. I'm fixing that later, alright? Just avert your eyes. Don't look at it.
Your Opfert mal, dass wir ihm helfen. Guess we should fix it as soon as possible then.
Sounds good to me. Give me a hand here, would ya?
Stan directs you to help him push the wooden S off the car. It stalls a little in its own dent, but with another firm shove it ends meets the ground. Stan gives it another push with a grunt and it tips, falling completely to the ground with a whump. Now that it's free of its burden, Stan lifts up the dented hood of the car to take a look inside. He hums and haws and rubs a hand over his chin in thought, walking over to his toolbox and grabbing a tool before walking back, still assessing the damage.
Yeah, this one's gonna take a while. You've got parts that need replacing. Not to mention she's not gonna look so hot after this. Not unless Ford's got a tech squirreled away somewhere that can smooth out these dents.
The more he tells you of the situation, the more this all sinks in. You really are stuck here. Stan spots your worried frown.
Hey, Mary Ann, right? Look, I know how this sounds, but with me on the job you'll be all set and back on that road in no time.
You think so?
Oh, kid! Kid, I know so. I've even got a plan to get those replacement parts of yours. Might not be able to clean up all these scuff marks after I'm done, but she will run. And hey, so maybe you've gotta stay a couple days. So what? There are worse places to get stranded, believe me.
Ja, er wird es wissen.
Stan wird es wissen. In fact, I'd even say the Mystery Shack is the best place to get stranded. We've got all sorts of stuff for people just passing through. Merchandise, magic, mystery, any other M-words, mayhem, you get the idea.
Stan tosses the tool in his hand back in the toolbox, exchanging it for another. He works for a while longer in your silence, metallic clangs and the occasional heavy breath all that mixes in with the sound of outdoors. You stand by, awkward, uncomfortable, and a little useless. Can I help with anything?
Know anything about cars?
No.
Ich muss nochmal Nase putzen, Ginny. Bleib sitzen. Ich habe eine Katze auf meinem Schoß, jetzt ist sie weg. Oh, ich bin so professionell. Meiner Let's Play-Karriere steht nichts im Weg.
Stan straightens, cracks his back, and sets down a tool before leaning casually against the nearest load-bearing surface. He wipes his forehead, lets his hand fall to his waist, and gives you an obsessing look.
How about collisions, tall tales, improv?
Yeah, I think I can handle that. But what does that have to do with this? You gesture at your stranded car, held in limbo between life and death by nothing other than Stan Pine's car expertise and a little luck.
Nothing. I was planning on having you help me help Zeus around the shack. A favor for a favor. What do you say?
Well, it's more interesting than helping Ford with his pest problem. You accept.
All right, follow me.
You follow Stan back into the Mystery Shack, passing by the showroom and getting a glimpse of an energetic figure leading a flock of turrets through a veritable sea of oblivious fabricated oddities. You hear the words, "And this is the ninth wonder of the world, right in the Mystery Shack. It's what makes this place world famous, dudes." Stan notices your pace slowing down as you listen and tosses an explanation back for you. That's Zeus during operating hours. He's the Mystery Shack's one and only Mr. Mystery. I told him he didn't have to keep the shack running while he's on vacation, but the kid's got a passion for the role. You interested in this kind of stuff? I was thinking about going on the tour. It feels weird now that you're staying at a tourist trap though. And you were kind of going to poke fun at the exhibits. Harder to do when you have to live around your tour guide. It's fine, really. Nah, I think I want to give you a tour of the place. You get from the founder himself. You ever hear one of my plugs on the radio? You weren't really paying attention to the radio during the drive, just taking in the Oregon scenery. See, the signs pointing to this place for over a mile down the road? Again, you were pretty preoccupied with the Oregon scenery, but you guess you did see some signs with question marks on them. That's some vague advertising. Just see what works. Bumper stickers. Ha! Ah, still got one on Ford. Anyway, follow me, folks. Well, folk. Get ready to be amazed. Stan starts leading you back the way you came. You trail behind him, a little skeptical, but definitely curious. Didn't you say the founder would lead this tour? Is Zeus the founder? Stan laughs. What? No! I'm the founder. Built this place from the ground up. Well, metaphorically speaking. I mean, the house was here and the junk was here, but I was the one who spun this place into a wondrous house of mysterious junk. Stan gestures with his arms like he's smoothing out a rainbow. You're not very impressed. Prepare to be amazed. You're still not very impressed, but his energy gets you hoping you'll be amazed anyway. There's a tour group in the showroom right now, so I'll be taking you on a different cycle that completely misses him. We are starting in the gift shop. You enter the gift shop, a simple room crowded top to bottom with the standard Euro souvenirs and merchandise. You see t-shirts with question marks, mugs with question marks, and pretty much everything has question marks. In one corner of the room stands a lumpy attempt of a statue labeled the Founder, recognizable as Stan only by the nose and glasses. This room usually comes after I butter the customers up to buying things, but since you're staying a while, I'll have plenty of time to sell you stuff later. Take a look around. If you see an impulsive buy, make it. Nothing like trusting your instincts. Oh, okay, hier kann man da wieder mehrere Sachen fragen. Employee of every month. Zeus always been the hardest work in this place. It was only natural to hand it over to him. You can't actually take one out of that stack. I glued them together way back then. Secret business trip. And you're telling me because... No one will ever believe you. Then they try it and the whole stack will fall to the floor. You noticed you break it, you buy it sign on the wall. Von der Tastenpyramide. A freezer full of iced goods. Just because you're staying over does not mean you get to snack over here for a popsicle. I get to do that, but that's cause this used to be my place and I get founder benefits. I also get founder dips on pineapple ice pops. Ha! Das ist so kapitalistisch, ich lieb's. Der Aztekenkalender. I absolutely know how to read a thing, and you should buy it. The pine tree head? Oh! Dipper used to wear one of those. Zeus tells me they sold like hotcakes after Ford tossed his journals into the bottomless pit. Ha! Funny. Those events have no correlation. Journals? Journals? Bottomless pit?
We'll have a chance to swing by the bottomless pit later. It's a prime spot on every tour because the troublemakers always accidentally trip in, and I get to lead a tour without them for 20 minutes. I'm kidding. I should have seen the look on your face.
T-shirt?
Who doesn't love a good souvenir t-shirt? They're great for layering. And they've got the charismatic mystery shack question marks on them. What makes it a mystery shack question mark instead of just a regular question mark? You ask too many questions. Or do you?
He says that last part in an exaggerated tone that betrays it as a sales pitch. This guy has no subtlety. The jar of eyeballs?
Ha! Thought we sold those things years ago. Ha! Nah, I forgot to put a price on it. Just has a $sign on it.
Stan takes dark marker and squeezes in a $9.99. Then he goes back and makes it $29.99.
That just got a lot of eyeballs.
And the founder statue?
Yeah, should have asked Mabel to carve it. You gotta admit that every version of me got a charming smile, though.
So, alles done looking?
You sure? Well, I think I had a tour group heading out of the showroom anyway. Now, most tourists don't appreciate nature's artistic genius. By which I mean my artistic genius, because I remembered you're gonna help me out today. You don't think up a money-making wonder like the Sasquatch by having a boring 9-to-5 office job. You think it up when you wonder, why hasn't anyone found a Sasquatch? Could it be that its name has been mispronounced the whole time? Anyway, just let me know when you've soaked up enough inspiration from this room, cause you're gonna need it to use it right after.
Okay, also wir haben 3 Lampen hier, 5 Lampen da, wir haben hier oben dieses Geweih. Und da haben wir noch 3, also 5, 3, Geweih und 3.
Alright, come on. You gotta see what makes this place the mystery shack instead of just the shack. We're making another attraction for the showroom.
Hä? Okay, was war das denn jetzt? You follow Stan through the living room to the kitchen, where stuffing and animal parts are strewn across the surface to your left. Stan pulls out a thick needle and spool of thread, and as an afterthought adds a couple of nails and a hammer to the pile. It seems a little unsanitary to do this right across from the fridge, and has the potential to look almost gruesome if it weren't so oddly cartoonish. He steps up to the workspace and pulls at the googly eyes that have been glued over lifeless, classy ones typical of taxidermy. Mabel's contributes to the crafts project remain firmly intact.
Huh? That's what I get for letting Mabel bring her stash of scrapbooking supplies. That's one more thing to add to the backstory.
Backstory?
What? You don't really think tourists are dumb enough to believe that the thing you're selling them is what you tell them it is, just like that, do you? 'Cause if you do, you'll be set to do business in Gravity Falls. Anywhere else, though, customers take a little more work. See, every good piece comes with some kind of story. Or, if you're Poindexter, some kind of lore.
I love Ford.
Our stories work pretty well, cause with enough suggestions, people can only find ways to spook themselves. Done it for years, it's kind of an art.
Stan appears nonchalant, but you can see a quiet pride beat within him. Mummy mal, sounds easy.
Stan merely looks amused. Oh yeah? Let's see you take a shot at it after we put this thing together.
You said you've done this for years.
Always had a knack for it, even when I was a kid. Sure, there was this little learning curve involved, and I've had a few unhappy customers over the years.
Stan pauses, seemingly to reminisce, and the mixed smile grimace on his face tells you he probably had many, many unhappy customers. But mostly, I've run a great business of telling lies. I mean, stories. You're learning from a true master, kid. Um, so what was your original vision for the shack? Vision? Make money. What other vision do you need? But over the years, sure, I've used the mystery line for advertising. Who isn't curious? Who doesn't want to be amazed? Kids are the most skeptical of the bunch. Tough. Though, let me tell ya, once they hit about 8 or 9, they are loving trying to prove it's all fake. Then they get older and realize there's nothing good left in the world unless you pretend there is, and everyone pretends along with you because they are all desperate. You work like you're still part of this place. You can take a man out of the mystery shack, but you can never take the mystery out of a man. Specifically me, which is why I'm back to work even though I don't have to. 30 years of the same routine, I will do that to ya. So why don't you run this place anymore? Stan's grin melts into something softer, maybe a little bittersweet. My brother wanted to drag me off on a trip with him. I couldn't say no, and I couldn't just close the place, so I left it all to Zeus. He practically grew up in this place, you know. Definitely wouldn't have entrusted it to Wendy. She's usually the cashier around here in the summer. It's weird having to explain all this to you. I keep thinking you already all know all this. Fourth wall breaking. Stan turns his attention back to the workspace, and you notice once more the daunting selection of items that lay upon the table. It's not a number, but a rarity that makes you unsure of how you're going to craft something out of this. Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with the stuff. Surprise me. Stan walks off to the side to, you guess, do some work of his own. You're glad he's not going to watch you the whole way through.